Mommytrack Daddy Whispers Podcast is now called Birth Agni Podcast.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Mommytrack Daddy Whispers Podcast. I'm your host, Divya. And we are at the end of December. 2020 is closing its doors. And although I had a very different topic for today, I realized it is time to retrospect, take it slow, and absorb this psychological transition into the next year. Otherwise, it is just a date, right? But you know how impactful that is. So much happened this year. On a personal level, Devi turned 2. She grew up so fast I could not register when she learned all those songs that I made her listen to, all the way back to the time when she was very little, a few months old maybe. All those animals that she can recognize from the book. At that point in time, when I was teaching her all these things, her blank expressions made me think that she's not grasping any of it at all. Until she started using words to express it. I came to know that she was listening all through. Kids, they grow up so fast. It is so special to have been close with her and to witness all this transition. Yet it feels so surreal, right? This year has also been historic for mankind because we realize that we technically live with viruses and bacteria. I have, in this year, swung between fear and trust. And if you ask me, I think that is how I'm going to define this year for me. It is swinging between trust and fear. And a major portion of this I'm going to carry forward. We've swung between the fear of unknown and trust of nature or for nature, of our ability to self-heal, the trust on our bodies that we otherwise take for granted. We've fought the unknown, remembered how we did it, and used it as a shield. That is what we are going to discuss today. All that we want to remember from this year and all that we want to discard. This year has been profound in so many ways. Today, I'm sharing my list of what I would like to keep in this little travel bag, this imaginary travel bag that I've created that I'm going to take to 2021. We've had from little to no travel this year. So that's my little travel bag that I'm creating today. And I'll be taking that into the next year. We'd start there. I'll share it because I think it is beneficial. It is so important to share it and start a conversation because each one of us is very different and we present a scope to learn. We're all different, which is why I'm sharing it with you because it has the elements that we all can relate to and resonate with. We'll start there, but before, an intro. Welcome to Mommytrack Daddy Whispers, a podcast about women, postpartum, and parenting as a whole, without subjecting it to motherhood or fatherhood. We are a bi-weekly podcast where we share our experiences and learnings with an intent to align diverse experiences and grow into a community wherein we mutually uplift each other. My name is Divya, and let's get started. Okay, what do I pick first? Let's start with the job. Early this year, I had left my job in order to take a break. A number of reasons triggered this move. And unfortunately, right about towards the end of my notice period, we were neck deep into the lockdown. I was only faintly thinking about it as to how long this COVID thing would go on, or if my move may prove too luxurious maybe. We were both thinking, my husband and I, but had not seriously discussed the repercussions. And then my boss changed during my notice period. And the new one, she saw my work and proposed a few days before my last day if I would still want to continue. She came in like a good vibe, quite angelic back then, and my husband and I discussed the prospects and still feel that it was very fortunate of us to get the job back. Very, very fortunate at a point in time when companies were bringing forward the prospects of a layoff. Experiences like these, they make me feel you never know who would light a match in your otherwise dark room. It is so powerful. You never know when you were right about to get buried in diverse circumstances, somebody or something may magically pull you up. Has happened with me, and I'm sure as long as we keep seeking, would happen to most of us. It may not be dramatic, of course. Right about enough light to find the exit door in that dark room. Right about enough pull to help us climb out of our bad circumstances. So the first thing that I'm going to put in my bag is hope and a faith in magic. Miracles. That is the first thing that goes in my travel bag to 2021. Now let's talk about the COVID times, when we were all down with COVID. At that point in time, I was serving our family of 5, and with all the workload, I almost raised my hand at Divi. Twice. It also happened later with office work that I used to get lost sometimes, extremely frustrated, which compromised my patience and my ability to listen. There was a frequent bad vibe in the house because of me. This made me learn that although I may not always have the luck, and most of us don't, but I should still try and only take as much workload as I can. I need to very strongly learn to offload. I'm pretty bad at it. I am no magician, I know. I'm no saint. I'm a human being at the end of the day that needs some time to relax and reflects to stay calm, positive, in order to handle the more significant part of our lives, family, children, relationships. Work will come and go. And actually, work keeps coming. It keeps coming. There's never enough work to do. That experience and the experience at the workplace, those made me realize that there are certain things that I really need to discard. So I'm discarding frustration and the lack of patience. And what I need to learn is to offload. Okay, now let's talk about the time when the lockdown had started and I had recently got the job back. At that point in time also, if I look back, there was immense pressure. Self-inflicted. Most women have that. To perfect family, to perfect work, to perfect child and the kitchen and the household. Too much to take, And one of the things that has stayed with me from that time is the amount of work was very similar, but it never felt heavy. It still seemed easy and enjoyable. And one of the things that I really credit that to is teamwork. We all worked as a team in the household. So my husband would make the afternoon tea and then diligently take Devi for a playtime. We all shared the load. And we enjoyed the meals together. We chatted. We took out time to watch some movies. It was a blissful time. Alas, later we all got back to working hard and making up for the lost time. So one of the things that I want to take to the new year is teamwork. Family working as a team and sharing the load. That goes right into my bag. And do you remember right about the time that COVID hit us? The news channels were instrumental in instigating fear. They were horrendous. I had shut myself down to propaganda because it impacted my sanity. And instead, towards the end of this year, I've made a list of the books that I want to read. I've already started. I think the world is deceiving. And I realized this far more now than ever, that it is full of lies. And it is so important to have an insight, to see through when a false is being propagated, when a false is being advertised. So, one of the things that I need to start in 2021 is the need to read books, to learn in order to stay unbiased and self reliant. So, we have three things in my bag so far: hope and magic, teamwork, the family teamwork, the need to read books, and I've already discarded frustration and lack of patience. And now, exercise and health, immunity. Most of this year, I've been fiddling with exercise and dutiful meditation. I was extremely disappointed, like I talked about it on my Instagram handle. I blamed the closing down of gyms to my lack of focus and discipline, and it did kind of impact, yeah. Later, I figured out I have diastasis recti, a very common phenomena in women postpartum. In common language, it is ab muscle separation. That can give you a mummy tummy, and that should be fixed first before starting regular exercises. And I did start wrong exercises earlier on, crunches and everything. And thankfully, I did not stick to it. And now, look at that wait time, not being able to go to gym as something that really helped me find out what exactly my problem is. And it prevented me from starting at the wrong place itself. So I'm so happy I had to wait. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise. So happy I had to wait. Did not feel like that in the start at all. Sometimes accepting a circumstantial wait, things that you cannot change, and stopping yourself from seeing a negative event, because it only makes the negative event more powerful. And I do not want to define my life with it. That becomes so important. To allow things to happen just the way they are. And that goes into my bag. A combo pack of perseverance and exercise with right knowledge and an ability to accept what I cannot change and instead look at what I can from whatever resources that are available to me. I think that's going to be really heavy to go into my bag because that's a lot. But yes, that goes into my bag. And from my fitness goals, I come to travel. One of the other things I realized while I was making a list of things that I want to keep into my bag, it was travel. I realized we take travel for granted, don't we? The lockdown made me think that this is similar to the old times, when we did not have trains or cars or planes to travel long distance. I felt for some point in time, we lived that phase. The only difference is that at that point of time, people must have known that they cannot change it, that they cannot go about the world, right? It is now and here that they have to cherish and enjoy and take care of what is here right now. Protect our surroundings, maybe. And that entire thought hit me so hard. It must have been a slower time. And I assume it must have been a more balanced approach to life. Here in the moment, with globalization, the pressure has become immense, a lot. And we struggle to slow down each day. Imagine what those times must have been. So a learning from our travel that we've taken so guaranteed, which goes into my travel bag, it is to live a more sustainable life, to protect here and now, to cherish here and now, without the assumption that we can go places. And towards the end of it, I think I'll have to talk about Divi. Divi turned 2 this year, like I said. And one of the reasons that I had earlier left my job was that I wanted to be a part of her growth. I wanted to witness it all. And I cannot be thankful enough to work from home because I could be a part of most of it. Despite the extra hours, despite the frequent distractions, despite all of that, I would still look back at 2020 and I'm still in awe of the time I got to spend with her. See life through her framing sentences, singing, dancing, seeing her excitement at the sight of a cat, at recognizing a dog, at recognizing a bird. She's added the light to my life. And it was one of the reasons that I started this podcast. It is work, yes, but it is strengthening. I'll give you an example. The other day she entered the kitchen and she saw the cooker whistle. She became super excited, absolutely gleeful with astonishment that it was the dal that was cooking. It's the lentil soup we make in India. Every time it whistled in the kitchen, she would show awe. Oh, Mama, dal! And would burst out laughing. I would accompany her in that little play. That curiosity is what thrills my heart. I would want to make sure that I do not snatch it away from her in my attempt to, prepare her for the worldly mannerisms and behavior. Divi teaches me values each day. She is my teacher. I often say parenting is a process. It is a process of unlearning and learning. More than parenting a child, it is about going back closer to nature, unconditioning yourself to how raw the nature is. Go closer to yourself and be a better human being. It is a process of learning. She helps me grow each day into a better human being. And I think towards the end, there are so many values that will go into the bag and it's going to make it really, really heavy. So the first one from Divi's teachings is going to be curiosity. Raw happiness and laughter, hoo-ha-ha, anything like that. Excitement. Celebration of little achievements, those claps. Exploration. Keen eyes and an ability to take calculated risks. Profound love. She knows exactly when to say no. And she's very firm about it. I want to learn that from her. Her emotional expression, the need to cry, the need to emotionally express yourself. Oh my God, I think all of that goes into my travel bag, makes it really heavy. And I will put a full stop right there. But there's one more thing that I want to discard from this year. And that is fear. A little of it is important. A lot of it can be used against us. I know it is going to be difficult to do that, but I'm going to try. I feel too privileged to carry fear sometimes. I may still carry some of it because that's the catalyst which is needed. But the rest of it, from this year, I want to let it stay in 2020 itself. So that was my bag and that was my story. I hope you find your own magic bag from 2020, which is filled with extraordinary stories. I'm sure not all of them must have been good. I hope you find some. You still find some to carry forward. This year has not been the same for each one of us. But I'm sure it has brought us a new perspective, to say the least. And we've now come to the end of the episode. Our travel bag is ready, quite heavy, and I need to check that out. And I'll check that out with the parenting tip of the episode. It is no different. I hope you take out the time and go through this year and pin all of that which helped you grow, spiritually or otherwise. And you can do a similar travel bag activity with your children where they pick one they want to keep into the next year. And it may not be as abstract. It can be anything, maybe a piece of chocolate that they want to just carry to the next year. But that's an exercise that can teach them values and help them find meaning in both good and bad. With that thought, I would leave. I wish you a lovely time at the end of the year. I know there is a lockdown in certain countries and it is sad. But I'm sure you'll find a way to make this time beautiful for you and your loved ones. We are all capable of finding some good and happiness in all of our situations. We've sailed through this year, and that says a lot. We are all capable, and more so, we are equipped with gadgets to bridge that physical gaps and distances. I cannot think of how people lived in yesteryears without any aid. So here's wishing you warmth, light, joy, calmness and strength. I wish you a slow and lively transition into the next year. Happy New Year, people. This year has been historic and you made it. Lots of love. This will be my last episode for this year. Take care and don't forget to subscribe and share. And please, please write to me if you want to say something. Say just about anything. I want to feel loved too. Take care, you wonderful people. Here's me signing off.